I will be performing A Light in the Dark Ages, the leadership and legacy of St. Patrick. Welcome, class, to World Civilizations. As you know, last time we talked about how the religion spread and affected history. We began that unit. Today we'll be talking about the early Christian expansion in its phases. The religion began by spreading throughout the Jewish people, then it spread to the Roman Empire, where it gained a powerful foothold. Next it spread somewhere unexpected. While Rome had claimed much of the mainland, a few lands remained unconquered. One of these was Ireland. Rome had already begun to crumble in 364 AD. It had struggled through a series of bad emperors and civil wars. Shortly after this, it would spread to Ireland and a missionary named St. Patrick. The Irish were pagan Celts who had raided the coasts of Britain and the mainland for centuries. This was also one of the last strongholds of the pagan Druids. Pagan priests and scholars who were an integral part of Celtic society, they sometimes went abroad to stir up resentment for Rome. These people were very different from the cultured Roman inhabitants of the mainland, very warlike and violent, undivided. Patrick went and spread the religion there. Shortly thereafter, Rome fell to pagan Germanians, barbarians who claimed much of the land. These would be This is the Ardakshalas, a perfect example of how Christianity affected Irish culture and merged with it. This is a communion cup, was used in Ireland, and it's the art style is very unique. St. Patrick proposed the idea of the Christian religion to the High King of Ireland circa 410 AD, about which time thereafter I mentioned Rome fell. Ireland then sent out missionaries to mainland Europe, keeping the religion alive and preserving it. Hello, my name is Patrick, and I am a sinner, the least of all believers and looked down upon by many. I am the son of a deacon who was a priest. I was born in a village in western Britain. At the age of 16, I was taken from that village by raiders from Ireland. They brought me to the northwestern part of the island, where I was forced to tend sheep in the fields every day. Some days I was out far before dawn. I would stay up on the mountainside and in the forest. I was motivated to pray many times a day, even as it was snow and rain, and I remained on the mountainside. So I am, first of all, a simple country person, unlearned, and I do not know how to provide for the future, but one thing I know, that before I was captured, I was like a stone lying deep in the mud. Then he who is mighty in his mercy came and pulled me out and placed me on the very top of the wall. I was taken to a foreign land before my education was complete, but I learned the Irish language and the culture of their people. I learned why the Druids made their sacrifices. I learned who the kings were and why they held power, how they ruled only through consent of their nobles and others. Many things I learned in that time. Though I did not like the pagan Druids, I was forced to interact with them, my own group of religious leaders and Pharisees. They questioned, and often they were the ones, when I came back later, who cried out for my head. The worst were the priests of a pagan god called Crom, a demon if there ever was one. This god of blight, they say, demanded human sacrifice. I could not stand to see people so hopeless and oppressed by the worship of false gods such as him. It was there, one night in my sleep, that I heard a voice say to me in a vision in the night, "You have fasted well. Now, very soon, you shall go." And again, after a little while, "Your ship is ready." It was not nearby, but a good 200 miles away. I did not know anyone there, nor had I ever been to the place. So I left the man whom I had been with for 6 years, and went, and I feared nothing while I was on the journey to that ship. A few years later, I was again with my parents in Britain, and they begged me, after the many tribulations I had undergone, that I should never leave them again. It was while I was there that I again had a vision in the night of a man. I saw a man named Victoricus coming, as it were, from Ireland. He had a great many letters, so many they could not be counted, with him. To me he gave one of these. I read out the beginning of the letter, "The voice of the Irish." And it was then that I heard, as though it was I could hear the voice of those who stood beside the western sea, crying out in one voice, "Holy boy, we beg you, come walk again among us." I was deeply touched then and could read no more. I awoke. This vision inspired me. I went to Rome and received priestly training. I was ordained to the rank of bishop. Then, with some monks who would assist me, I returned to that island, determined to convert the people. As for what happened there, well, Hosea says, "Those who are not my people, I will call my people, and her who has not obtained mercy, I will name the one who has obtained mercy. In the place where it was said, 'You are not my people,' there you shall be called children of the living God." How has this happened in Ireland? They never before knew how to serve God except to serve unclean things and idols. Now, many of them are blessed by God and are named children. I pray it is right to have a knowledge of this Trinity, to spread the word of God abroad without fear, in knowledge that He provides. I pray for those who believe in and have reverence for God, that some of them might find this writing which St. Patrick, a sinner without learning, wrote in Ireland. Let none of them ever say that what little I did or made known to God was done through ignorance. Instead, let them say and acknowledge in all truth that it was a miracle of God. his brother Braden. And this place where we stand now, Armagh, the great cathedral, was once a simple monastery built by Patrick. He brought the faith to this land, you know. Converted a great many. Even kings and the pagan priests were brought to Christ eventually. Some of his followers even became saints themselves. St. Columba's the most famous. He spread Christianity to the Scots and the Picts in the north of Britain. Spent a great many years there. How do you know all of this, we may ask? The monks record everything. That is how we know. They write down history, business, everything that seems of value for those who come after us. Anything that may be worthy is written. So you see, class, Patrick spread Christianity to Ireland. From there, after his death, when Rome had fallen, it spread back into Europe through a massive missionary effort launched by his followers in Ireland. This was majorly important to the conversions of northern peoples such as the Picts, the Saxons, and the Gauls in France, the Franks, who had invaded. These peoples were converted mostly by followers from Ireland, and with some help from the church in the south that had more or less remained. It had been rather destroyed in a great part, but had recovered by this time. His methods were very influential in the conversion of the Romans many of these Germanic peoples in the north, especially in the German heartland and later in Scandinavia, where they would prove most useful and as a opposite method to the standard at that time, which was violent conversion. Patrick's legacy, as we can see today, is the preservation of Christianity in Northern Europe, which was so threatened at that time by the well of German paganism which had spread across Europe. This influx was blocked, and it has affected history deeply to this day.